All right, we are recording.
Not live.
Not
Okay.
live.
Not
Not
live.
live.
Recording.
Hello,
Yo,
everyone, and welcome to
guys.
the. Oh shit!
Sorry.
You go, John.
Okay, we'll take our turns. I'll do this first episode.
Okay.
Yo, guys, 'tis myself, the People's Dude, and the boys here. We're talking today about all things E3.
hmm
Anything?
So yeah, let's. Oh, and I'm Ryan. You.
All right, I'm Dylan.
Okay,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we'll just get right into this. We're gonna tackle this by company and their presentation, what we thought of it, what
Yeah.
we thought should have been there, what was missing. So, kicking it off was Ubisoft. So they really had everything that could have been
Sorry.
there. So there's Life is Strange, which I know is very popular, good for its fans. I care very little about. Personally, Far Cry 6 looked really fun. It looked like
Oh,
there
they
was a big
announced Far Cry 6.
Far Cry 6 has been announced,
Oh.
but this one is taking place somewhere in Latin America. It might be specifically Mexico,
Huh.
but it is basically. 1 second.
Yeah, I just have not been following Ubisoft. Or wait, was it
This Life
Ubisoft?
is Strange announcement. Is this That's a sequel, isn't it?
Yeah, I saw some of it during the Square conference, which we'll get to eventually. But yeah, I think they're doing a remake of the original.
Oh,
It looks
not a
alright.
true sequel, like a
They're doing
remake,
both.
remaster. Oh,
They're doing both. I think.
Oh, okay.
I think.
Yes. So there's a sequel called True Colors, and there's a. I don't know if it's a remake or if it's a pork. It's upgraded. It's upgraded graphics, but
Not much else is upgraded, I don't think.
Yeah. But Far Cry 6, there are pets that can do enemy takedowns. There's a lot of like gun customization, a lot of vehicles. It's based off of a cartel leader who's grooming his son to take over the cartel. And you're kind of like taking down the cartel, freeing the people, helping the son.
Typical Latin America things.
Yeah. And so you're like a freedom fighter, and it's pretty cool. I think it looks really good.
Okay.
The one John and I are really excited for from Ubisoft, Mario and Rabbids: A Spark of Hope.
Should we hold off until we get to Nintendo, or should we talk about that now?
We'll hold off, I guess.
I mean,
it
up
is
to
a
you.
Ubisoft. It's a Ubisoft game for Nintendo, so I think it's more tied to Nintendo. Especially because it's like one of the few instances of Mario being given to other companies.
Okay. Well, moving forward, I have something I'd like to discuss. So about, what is it, 11, 12 years ago, a little movie in 3D called Avatar came out. A video game for it came out a year or so later, and now we are getting a sequel. Or, I don't know, a sequel to the game. What do we think of that? It came out before the sequel to the movie.
So here's what I think. I think a lot of like companies are like trying to do intertwined like multimedia big pushes on their franchises. And I think this Frontiers of Pandora is its subtitle, Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. And I think this is kind of their way to prime people for the movie sequel. I think it is going to be introducing other tribes of the alien species, exploring the world, developing the world, reintroducing what the humans have been up to, because like they left at the end of the first movie, but in this, they're back, or like I don't know,
They're coming back.
They're the humans are there, so I don't know if when chronologically this takes place, but I think this is definitely a primer to get people ready for the movies again.
Maybe.
Is there already a sequel to the? Is there a sequel coming out for sure?
I think.
Yes,
there's. I think
it is supposedly 2022, and then 2024 will be the third movie. They actually have all of the filming done for 2, and it is all post processing because so much of it is CG.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
And I think
there isn't much real filming to be done, I'm sure.
Yeah, and I think they actually have up through 4 planned. So they're like actually going to have an Avatar push, which is crazy to me. But
That's pretty wild.
I do have the hot take. of saying that I'm not a fan.
Me neither. Didn't like the movie. Did not like the movie.
It's
I'm gonna oppose you guys on this. It's decent. It's not bad. It's fun to watch. It is. So I think there's different reasons to like media. I think there's enjoyment, just pure enjoyment, or then there's the storytelling element or like conveying parts of the human experience. I think it doesn't do the second one well. I think it does do the first. It's pretty to look at. The action is fun.
And that's what people said was that it's more of a movie theater experience than it is an actual movie in terms of like why you go and see it.
Yeah.
You go and see it because it's on a massive screen and it's all this new tech that was ahead of its time, and it looked really nice, and everything was real nice, slow rolling shots, pan shots. You know what I mean? It wasn't necessarily like this quick whip action, crazy stuff going on.
Yeah. Yeah. So
it felt like
I'll just say getting to the video game side, they actually didn't show any gameplay. And it looks like it's in a 3D environment. There are things like you are actively participating, but I don't know that it's open world.
You don't know if it is or not?
No, because they never revealed it.
Okay.
They showed very little gameplay. They showed the 3D environment, so I don't know if like, what the plot is, if you need to like recruit from the tribes, lead people, do wars, like there's some tactical element, kind of like say Mass Effect, where you like need to be kind of a negotiator while there's action. I don't know if it's completely open world and you're by yourself most of the time. But I'm very interested because it could kind of be a rival to Horizon or Breath of the Wild. I think there's a very good chance that's in kind of that same vein.
Maybe. We'll just have to wait and see, honestly.
Yeah, the problem is there's so little we don't know.
Right.
But yeah, that's kind of my take on it. I think it's a game with a lot of promise.
Mm-hmm.
Does that cover Ubisoft?
No.
Let me see.
We'll go through these a little quick. So they had Rainbow Six Siege Extraction, which is PvE. It looked pretty good. It looked like not kind of like Left 4 Dead, but like kind of the same tactical Left 4 Dead, I would say, where like you're working cooperatively against AI. You kind of like each have your own role. It looked fun. Not for me. It looked fun, but just not for me. Yeah. And then they showed off some more Rainbow Six Siege, which I think people are kind of over. And then
it's only been like 30 years.
Yeah.
CS:GO.
When did the first one come out?
Like 2014.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
2015.
But then they showed DLC for Assassin's Creed, which was, I think, weird. This is they brag. This is the first time we've supported an Assassin's Creed for 2 years, and I just thought that's not something to brag about.
Which one is it? Which Assassin's Creed game?
Valhalla.
That came out 2 years ago?
Yeah.
I thought that came out this year.
It came out a year ago, but they're supporting it through its second year, and that's what they're announcing.
Right.
So the DLC
is cool.
Yeah, the DLC is going to cover the war between the Vikings and the Franks. So kind of cool part of history, but nothing I would say that was super impressive.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't delved into Assassin's Creed since the 4th game, I think. Actually, no, since Rogue, and that was on PlayStation 3.
Yeah.
I think the last AC that I fully played through to the very end was Black Flag.
That game is amazing.
That game is very good. I started 3 and never finished it. Okay. I only ever got to that first winter sequence. And then Black Flag came out when the PS4 came out, or near it, or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's when I played. That was through PS4. Okay. And that one I played from start to finish was very good.
You lucky bastard. I played it on PS3.
I know.
Yeah, no, I played through all of 3 and all of 4, and I loved both of them. And then I played Rogue, and I was just like, this kind of blows. I was kind of over it at that point.
No.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, it seems like that IP is doing pretty well, so I'm happy for them in that regard, but...
Yeah, just not something for us, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the Ubisoft presentation. Overall, I would say it was second place for presentations. I
Second
liked it.
place.
Yeah.
Um,
It was pretty good.
I'm
Ubisoft doesn't have a lot of properties I care about, but I think they did as well as they could have, which I commend. And it wasn't super padded. Some of the Rainbow Six Siege stuff was padding, but nowhere near as bad as nowhere
so
near as bad as the rest. I actually think it had the least padding. Now that I think about it.
yeah. So there are 4 conferences we're gonna go over from like between 1 through 4. What would you rate it?
I would give it second place.
I would give it third.
You'd give it third. Okay.
What about you, Dylan? Based off of course, probably just based off of what we've discussed.
Well, my reference point being Nintendo,
Mm-hmm.
say it is. Oh man, my gut wants to say slightly better. Yeah, I'll go with that. I'm gonna trust my gut here. I'll say slightly better than Nintendo, and I'll have to hear your guys' summaries of the next 2.
Okay.
So obviously I watch Nintendo, so I'll have to see what you guys have to say about these, and I'll.
So seeing as we all like Nintendo and Sony, let's talk about our third guy, Xbox. Let's shift over to Xbox. Also, Ryan, your camera's frozen.
Oh geez,
there we go. You're good.
That happens when I'm in another window for too long. Thanks for letting me know. So Xbox. So they came out strong with Halo, and I am not a Halo person. I played the original 3. I did not play 4 or 5. I did not play ODST, and I did not play Reach. I've heard very good things about Reach. It's the one I'm most interested in. Never played it.
Yeah.
They showed nothing new for the campaign except one more CG cutscene, and that is not what we want to see, Microsoft. I am sorry, but we want to see the gameplay.
I've heard.
But what the gameplay that was shown or was it a year ago? I think it was not actually as bad as the internet said. Things look worse in still than they do in fluidity a lot of the times, and I think it was kind of unfair. But I think them halting development was also good. So, and I think the gameplay for the single-player campaign looked solid. We saw nothing new of it.
What did they halt development for?
It was supposed to launch alongside the console holiday season this past year, and it did not.
Okay.
In 2020?
In 2020. In fact, it looks like it might not even do holiday 2021. But
Man.
We'll see.
That's such a huge IP for them.
I know. It's their system sellers, the problem.
It is. It's their Super Smash Brothers.
So, but here's the thing. That's really interesting. They showed off a lot of multiplayer, and it looked good. I'm not a personal huge fan of the Halo multiplayer, but it did look decent. They added the grapple hook, which is from the main campaign. They added a lot of physics where, like, you can blow up a gun and blow it to yourself and catch it in the gun and shoot people. Solid stuff. What was a really big, bold move of them is they made the multiplayer free. It's a separate game from the Halo Infinite story. And so, this is pointed out to me, that says that they expect people to pay full price for just the single-player campaign, and that could easily backfire on them very bad.
Well, do you think that's the expectation, or do you think the push is make the multiplayer free and then hard sell DLC microtransactions like crazy?
They are doing microtransactions. In fact, they actually have a new battle pass structure that I haven't seen anywhere else. Where so you know how most battle passes are like season 1, season 2, and they go on. When season 2 begins, season 1 won't be over. You will still be able to earn everything from season 1 if you bought it, while simultaneously earning stuff for season 2. You get simultaneous rewards. They never expire. Which I think
is a new battle pass.
Well, it's like most battle passes where they kind of renew themselves. So if you have the currency, like you can buy the next.
Right, you get enough in game to where you can typically, if you don't blow it on cosmetic stuff, you can usually buy the next one.
So
all this talk of microtransactions, I kind of hate it. Like the microtransactions, not talking about it.
You and me.
Yeah.
I actually personally believe that if you have a free to game free-to-play game.
Right. I know what you mean.
The most ethical way to monetize it is the battle pass system. I personally believe
Fortnite.
that. Oh yeah, Fortnite and Rocket League.
Yeah.
I think
Apex Legends.
Apex Legends,
Rocket
Call
League
of
is
Duty.
only occasionally free, right?
Yeah.
I paid like
Yeah.
20, $30 for my copy.
It's
Okay.
it's been free on Epic and it's been free on PlayStation.
I mean, I've caught it
Um,
free.
Yeah. So, but I do think it's the most ethical, transparent way and rewarding way to monetize a free-to-play game. So
Mm.
I actually do not mind the battle pass, and I am kind of proud of what Halo's doing as someone who isn't a big Halo fan.
Okay.
But I am concerned for Xbox once again as someone who isn't an Xbox fan, but I do want to. I am not someone who's an Xbox fan, but I want to see them give PlayStation a run for their money so that PlayStation doesn't abuse their consumers. I think they need that competition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I am very worried on if people will still buy the single player campaign at its full price. Because normally I think people bought Halo to play the multiplayer.
I also
Usually.
think. Well, did they see here? Here's what I have a problem. This is sort of a sidebar. I have an issue with the $60 price tag. I don't know where it came from. I don't know the history of it, but I'm tired of looking at it because not everything is $60. Some things, some games should be $79.99, $89.99, but most of them should be $19.99, $29, $39, $49.
Yeah.
If you're gonna make multiplayer free, why don't you make the freaking single player campaign $30
For
instead of
$20.
or $40?
I am so with you on that point.
Me too.
Okay. Breath of the Wild could have been a $70, $80 game.
And you would have bought it. And you would have bought it, no problem.
Breath of the Wild and Luigi Mansion 3 are the same price.
And they shouldn't be.
That is
it doesn't make sense.
inexcusable.
Mhm.
It
And
doesn't make sense.
this is the only market where that's the case. But
It literally makes no sense. At all.
yeah. They didn't cost the same to develop. They
No. It
aren't
takes
valued by the populace the same. It's
No.
kind of ridiculous.
No, the demand is completely different. You're gonna ask for the same price for two things that have wildly different markets.
Can you make the argument that Luigi's Mansion 3 and Smash Bros are the same price, or at least they were when they released?
Smash,
Yeah.
Smash now should be like $90.
I mean, it is with the DLC, but
Yeah.
But I mean, say all the DLCs included, and you're gonna release Smash. It should almost it should practically be $100 to play it because it's worth that much.
I actually think Luigi's Mansion should be.
If you didn't also at the same time ask them to pay, like you say, Luigi's Mansion, pay $60 for that.
I'm 100.
If you had a Switch, how much would you pay for it?
If I had a Switch, how much would I pay for what?
Luigi's Mansion 3.
Or
maybe
Mario
$10.
Tennis.
Maybe $10.
$10.
Like Mario Tennis, Mario Golf, like
10,
those are like
10,
30 at max for me.
30 at max if you're being generous. What would I pay? $10.
Yeah. So
anyways, we should probably go back to Xbox.
Yeah. Sorry for the sidebar. That just made me so mad about the single player and the microtransactions.
I'm with you, but it is important to discuss. So then they showed off Elden Ring. This is a From Software game, the maker of Dark Souls. I don't think I saw too much from Elden Ring, or I didn't pick up on too much of it, but I think people are very excited for it. Good for them. Souls-likes are not necessarily my cup of tea, but I do respect the genre.
We gotta respect the grind.
Yeah, really. Then there were Obsidian, makers of Fallout New Vegas, are coming up with a fantasy game to compete kind of with Skyrim. I forget its name, but they showed that off. And it's really weird now that Bethesda and Obsidian are owned by Microsoft because like they're each other's main competition, and now they're owned by the same person. Yeah. Weird stuff. Outer Worlds 2 was shown off by Obsidian. Looked decent. You know, it's more Outer Worlds, which is just kind of like more Fallout. Yeah, Starfield, more Bethesda. This is more of a Bethesda showcase than it was a Microsoft.
I've heard that. I've also heard that it's a lot of like CG trailers and shit that like people don't really care about because it's like, come on, show us the gameplay. And you mentioned that earlier, Ryan, but still.
Yeah, yeah. They showed off Starfield, showed no gameplay for it. Starfield is Fallout, but in space. It may have a little bit of what is it, No Man's Sky at this point. Or they may be trying to work that into it. Which, fun fact, No Man's Sky is good at this point. I think most people know that, but if you didn't,
Right.
Forza Horizon 6 was insane. They like just recreated Mexico and like beautiful locales, and you can just race in it. Forza Horizon 6 actually was really good. Really good racing game. The most beautiful racing game I've ever seen. Not my cup of tea, but
Yeah.
I think it has mass appeal.
I may try out the Sony, I guess, version of that. What is it called?
Gran
Gran
Turismo, I
Turismo.
think.
Gran Turismo, yeah. I have like a PS2 game of it. I might dive
Yeah,
into the idea of getting at least maybe a PS4 game for it
yeah.
or something like that. I don't know. I
You
think
know who
it'd
I
be kind of
really
cool.
think? You know who I really think those
What's
racing games
that?
appeal to
Who?
is the slightly older demographics.
Mm-hmm.
I would
Like
probably agree.
you're 28 to like 40 probably. That they just
Yeah.
want to hop on the Xbox and they just want to relax, chill
Mm-hmm.
out, run some laps with some cool cars. Like they're
Nothing
not
wrong with
getting on there
vibing.
to absolutely utilize everything with the Game Pass and everything with the social features and everything like that. So I like that there's a nice little. It's not even a niche market, but it's like they know who they're appealing to.
Yeah.
Like just
It's
make it look
nice.
real pretty. Just make
Mm-hmm.
it look real pretty and make it run well. Like
Yeah.
that's all you got to do.
It's nice to have a
Yeah,
market for that.
It markets itself practically because the name
Mm-hmm.
Forza. Like
yeah.
you're walking through Target or Best Buy and you just see Forza. It's like okay, you don't have to
Mhm.
think twice about what it is. You know exactly what you're getting.
Yeah. Next on our Microsoft presentation was Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so do you guys know much about this game? Because it's really interesting.
I'm
I
assuming
know that it
you're.
requires an insane amount of powerful hardware to run it well.
Mhm.
And they basically recreated the world digitally for you to fly
Yeah,
around
it's
it.
absolutely
Oh,
Like,
absurd.
like
really?
um,
Basically,
every major city is like recreated in excruciating detail,
Oh
yeah.
and
my.
like even like jungles are like kind of accurate, and like places
It's
that are
like
like
pretty damn close.
yeah, it's really well created. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's basically you can fly around the whole actual world.
That's really
Um,
cool.
yeah, so Flight Simulator, like I'm down for them showing it off. Like good for them. I think it's a game that like is really cool. Not for everyone, but like definitely deserves respect.
Yeah.
So I don't even know what new they showed off. I think new planes, maybe tweaks to the game engine. Probably not too much worth working about unless you're really a fan.
Yeah.
But another look at it is always good.
Yeah. You're right.
They showed off Psychonauts 2, which was a cult
Mm.
classic. I'm sure you guys have heard of
Mhm.
Psychonauts. I think it's
Yeah.
like a 2008 game, maybe 2006,
Sounds right.
2008,
I
somewhere
was
in
gonna say
there.
middle 2000s.
Yeah. Cult classic. Its sequel looks really good. Really creative environments. Um, it's not anything I have gotten into, but I'm sure a lot of people are excited for. Good
Mm-hmm.
reveal. Age of Empires 4. It's like Kingdom Come Deliverance or like stuff like that. Like it is just medieval like video game.
Gobbledygook.
Yeah.
It's gobbledygook. I'm
Yeah.
Gobbledygook.
tired of
I
it.
I don't particularly care. It
Mm-hmm.
needs I don't know. For me, it needs some kind of like twist, something goofy, some innovation in storytelling, just something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Something unique.
yeah. Um,
That's fair.
because like it literally could be a mobile game. Like I got an ad for a mobile game earlier called Mega Heroes, and I was like, really, Mega Heroes, huh?
Mega
There's
heroes.
there's a game called Mega Heroes, and that's kind of what Age of Empires 4 is. I'm sure it's better made than any mobile game, but like,
Mm-hmm.
come on,
Yeah.
come on. Or like it sounds exactly like Forge of Empires. Like you can't tell me to a casual viewer, they'll hear Age of Empires and go like, "Can't I get that on my phone?" Because like they've seen Forge
Mm-hmm.
of Empires ads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which sucks, but like I think it was a weaker part of the presentation. Especially as someone who is not invested in the franchise.
Yeah.
Then there's a Diablo 2 reach, which is hilarious. I laughed so hard at it because people have been asking for Diablo 4 for like 15 years now, longer than Kingdom Hearts 3 was like desired for, and they just keep remaking the old Diablo games or like doing mobile games and not coming out with Diablo 4. And as a spectator, it's just really funny to me. I think in E3 2019 they announced a mobile Diablo game and the guy got booed off stage. So that kind of cracks me up. I'm not gonna lie, but I think almost as interesting, if not more, for the Microsoft presentation than what was there is what wasn't. So they have all these old properties that they have bought or like own that were not there. So for instance, Banjo is their property.
Right.
Banjo was not there because they bought Rare. Fable, not there. Perfect Dark, not there. Everwild, which they showed off last summer, not there. Gears of War, not there. Ori in the Blind Forest, or like the Ori franchise, not there. Cuphead, not there. And it's kind of
Cuphead, man.
There's
crazy.
a lot I could have included.
Like, okay, I think all the games I listed out are all more popular than except 3 of the games they did show. And there was nothing for them. No teasers, no, like, this is how far we're into development. No, we're, like, just nothing.
Yeah. So, your face cam is frozen again, Rye.
Oh, no problem.
And it looks funny.
Yeah, apologies. I'm just in the Google Doc, just, like, in the discussion.
You need 2 screens, bro.
I do need 2 screens, you're right.
So,
but yeah, and that's
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
That's the Microsoft presentation, the Xbox presentation, and it was.
Is there anything anyone wants to add to it before we move on?
Oh, what? Okay, yes, I think it was kind of a flop, but one thing I did miss is the Doom Eternal update. They showed it off for new consoles, and I think like for Switch,
look good?
it looked decent. Yeah, I mean,
okay.
You either for new consoles for Doom get you have to choose between 120 degrees or 120 frames or ray tracing.
No.
You get the choice.
I'll take 120 frames.
Really?
Yeah, after the ridiculousness I went through with Ratchet and Clank, I'll take the 120 frames.
Yeah.
I would take 60 frames in ray tracing. Ray tracing is really pretty.
It is. It's just flawed. At least in the case of Ratchet and Clank, it was. So
I would be more open minded to it, but yeah. I mean, not a horrible presentation. I think they got a lot of crap, but not good. They didn't have any heavy hitters is the problem.
Yeah.
So
I think a lot of these companies didn't have something that was like something that everyone is still talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
So here's what I'm thinking. What was our ratings for Ubisoft? I gave it a 3.
I put it at second place.
You put it at 2. Dylan, what did you put it at?
Slightly above. I'll put it. Okay, so with Microsoft now in mind,
yeah,
I would say that Ubisoft was slightly better than Nintendo, and those two are both better than Microsoft. Okay, I'll say currently and perennially 1, 2, 3, but that'll change after.
Okay.
Oh, we talked. No, that's.
Because I'm thinking like we can average it.
1, 3, 2. Yeah.
1, 3, 2.
So I think we're all currently putting Xbox at the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, hang on. I have an idea.
Okay. While you execute on that, do you want me to start on Square?
Sure.
To start discussing Square. Okay. So Square, the big thing that they did was they revealed a Guardians of the Galaxy game. Very choice based, it seems. Like you need to get the other Guardians to care about you. To follow your leadership. You're playing as Peter Quill. So you are Star-Lord. And it takes place a year after the formations of the Guardians. You start the game in like dead and need to work out of it. Combat system. Peter's very agile. There are a lot of like moves you can execute. It's very fast paced, but you can also the vein of Final Fantasy VII Remake, Slow Down Time, and Command the Other Guardians.
Mm-hmm. That's
Visually,
interesting.
visually, it looks a little weak.
Really? Really?
I for current gen, yes. For current,
Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5?
yes. Compared to other games on those consoles, it looks a little weak. The frame rate is not consistent for every model. Some of the models are a little rough around the edges. I think it's going to get some polish, but there is some jaggedness to it.
Okay.
And that could have been the stream too. I'm not.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
I really enjoyed what they showed off.
I think it was good. The choice based stuff was really good. It was really funny because the person doing the demo seemed like they were doing everything in their power to piss off Rocket, which I just find hilarious.
Yes, exactly.
They showed off things from Marvel's Avengers. I'm not well qualified to talk about it. Yeah,
I can talk about. I can discuss it a little bit.
Yeah.
So, I'm in the Hawkeye DLC right now, the Clint Barton one that came out about a month ago, I think. They announced that they're bringing in Black Panther and I forget his country, Wakanda. Yeah, they're bringing in Black Panther DLC with Wakanda later this summer. It looks pretty good. They have Claw there, I think. That's his last name, at least. I think it looks kind of cool for what it's worth. Okay. I don't know if either of you watched the DLC or the conference, but yeah.
I did, but I had no context for what was there, what wasn't, and what the additions meant.
I'm excited to see like the implications for how this plays into like the plot with what they're going for with Hawkeye, because they're going for like a Snyder Cut-esque feel to it. So I'm excited to see what they have next at their disposal. I don't think it overstayed its welcome. I'll admit that Guardians of the Galaxy kind of did a little bit.
Yes. For sure.
But I enjoyed all the Marvel stuff we got. But yeah, that's my opinion.
I think that's fair.
Did they include anything else? I can't remember besides Black Panther.
There were others. I can't remember what. Black Panther was like the big one.
Yeah.
They featured. So moving down the list, because
they mentioned something with Black Widow. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just spitballing.
I think you might be right.
Okay.
So moving down the list, I kind of got through some of these fast because Square Enix just kind of blended together for me. They really didn't have any heavy hitters apart from Guardians. So there's Babylon's Fall. I think that's different from Final Fantasy Origins, but I'm pretty sure Final Fantasy Origins had like a 16-word title if you include all the subtitles. So they might be the same game, and I'm just mixing them up because like I
remember.
That is how Square Enix be.
Yeah. They got their subtitles.
Yeah, very, very bland, generic. The combat looked decent, but nothing like, Kingdom Hearts or the Souls games. Nothing, no like 3D combat action that was, I think, spectacular. They showed off Life is Strange again. I don't know what they have to do with it.
Yeah.
And Nintendo did too. And oh my god, why was Life is Strange?
Nintendo and Square all did it.
Yep.
Who made Life is Strange? I thought it was Square.
I have no idea.
I'm gonna do a quick little deep dive into that.
Some quick research.
Quick research.
So then they also showed off like the first 10 not Resident Evil, Final Fantasy games.
I thought that was a good idea to include.
Okay, yes, but like is saying they're remaking or porting a Final Fantasy game is like saying it's gonna rain in Ohio at some point. Like, of course it will. Like, name a year where Square Enix does not capitalize on old Final Fantasy games. It happens all the time. So like, it's cool to see, but like, it's expected.
Yeah.
And then there's
So
Final Fantasy Origins, which was a meme on how much the main character is like, "We're here to kill chaos, chaos." Like
chaos.
it was a
That
big
was
meme.
that was
The
funny.
demo's out for it, and I heard it wasn't very good. I heard it's kind of worse Final Fantasy VII.
Oh damn! You said it's. You heard it's what?
Worst Final Fantasy VII
Oh, it's
remake.
worse than. Damn.
Yeah, yeah.
Damn. Yeah, that kind of sucks because it looks really good from what I saw in the trailers. It looks promising, but I don't know. I don't
We'll
know.
see. I'm not against it, but
Yeah.
it did not grip me, which is kind of the point of E3, I feel.
So
and
Oh, sorry.
go ahead. Go ahead.
So I finished my little mini deep dive into Life is Strange. So it came out originally in 2015, and it came out. It was published by Square Enix. So why it was at Ubisoft's press conference is beyond me.
Yeah.
Like Nintendo, I kind of get because it's coming out on Switch, but I don't know why Ubisoft showed it off.
Yeah.
So I think we can like say, okay, Square's fine because they published it, but not Ubisoft because what the fuck are they doing?
Yeah.
But let's discuss what wasn't at the conference now. So
once again, I think what was missing is more interesting than what was there. No Final Fantasy 16, which was already announced. We've seen stuff for it.
It was almost a given that Final Fantasy 16 had to have been there. It was there last year, or at least 2019, I think.
Well, yeah. It was there in 20. It was revealed in 2020 when we didn't have E3. And we had like the Summer's Game Fest or whatever.
Right.
And it looked decent. It looked,
alright.
They're kind of back to the medieval stuff, which is cool.
Yeah.
And so it looked decent, and it just wasn't there, and it would have been their heaviest puncher apart from maybe Guardians of the Galaxy. We obviously didn't see the sequel or the next installation in Kingdom Hearts, and that was to be expected.
That was promised. That was told to us that KH wouldn't have a...
The series director said not to expect anything this year apart from the conclusion of the mobile game. So that completely fine. I love when people are honest. When companies are open with how their development is going.
Yeah. Me too.
No complaints there. It would have been nice to get something teased, but I'm still satisfied. And then there was no Final Fantasy VII.
Yes, this was the thing that bothered me the most, was no Final Fantasy VII Part 2, especially after I finished the DLC that they released with Yuffie. I finished it, well, chronologically, might be different from when you're watching this, but I finished it last night on Twitch, I think, and holy shit was it good. Like the ending, I mean, like it was so fucking crazy. And the fact that they didn't have anything there, just
the thing you have
grapes for me.
In their defense, game development does take a long time, and they did just release the DLC. I think it'll probably be 2 years before we get the remake Part 2. They'll show it off strong next year, and within 2 years of that being shown off, it will release.
I hope so.
But I think teasing it or saying at least how far the next part will go through would have been nice. But overall, I think Square's presentation was kind of weak. I think Square does what Square does well, but they have very little diversity and like very little mass appeal, and it kind of, I don't know.
It's like Kingdom Hearts, you know, like by one you're like, okay, if you like Disney, if you like Final Fantasy, then you'll like this. But then by like KH, I'm trying to think, maybe like
anything after 2. Anything after
2, it's like, okay, we're releasing this game for its fans, not really for people to like try out the franchise with.
So my main takeaway is Square wasn't bad, but they have very little mass appeal, and there are a lot of people who probably watched it and were disappointed because Square is just too niche for E3 to have their own presentation.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed what they showed off. I thought everything looked pretty good. I just was very upset that they didn't show Final Fantasy off. But it's unfortunate for me because it's like I didn't care for really any of these conferences, but Square is like first on my list by default because of
Oh,
how bad the other ones were.
they also announced Dragon Quest 12, which is basically as big of a franchise as Final Fantasy. They announced Dragon Quest 12 a week before E3 and did nothing with it. They didn't show off any more.
They should have just announced it at E3.
They should have, but they didn't because a week before E3 was its 35th anniversary. So they just coincided with the anniversary, not E3. And so if they literally waited a week to celebrate their anniversary, they would have had a way bigger of a punch. So I think that was a mistake on their part. I really do.
Based off of what we said so far, Dylan, what would you rate Square Enix's conference?
It sounds. Follow the gut. It sounds not by much, but it sounds a little worse than Xbox.
So you're thinking fourth, then?
I'm thinking fourth. I'm gonna say 4.
I'm also saying 4.
So I'm gonna say Square 4, Xbox 3,
Nintendo 2, Ubisoft 1.
Ubisoft 1. Yeah.
Well, and you want to hear what helped Ubisoft the most is the fact that they had the least filler. I think that's the best. I think that's the best thing you can do for a presentation.
That's why we put Nintendo second, because
what did you place Microsoft, Ryan? Sorry.
Third. My list is the same as Dylan's except Switch, Ubisoft, and Nintendo.
I'm just trying to I'm making a list to go off of for where everything is placed. I placed it in fourth. So it's kind of like,
that's correct.
It sounds like it's tied for third with Square Enix.
Yeah, I could get behind that. That's what I mean by just slightly. And I mean just slightly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just slightly worse.
So yeah. And then what did we say for Ubisoft? I said 3.
I think it's 1 and Ryan thinks it's 2, so it's 2.
Yeah.
You do averages?
Yeah, it's 2.
Okay.
And then, so now this is probably going to be pretty controversial, but this next section, but let's dive into the one we all reacted to together. Let's talk about Nintendo.
Okay.
Which we could probably do for hours.
Yeah, we really can. So we'll have to kind of push through and try to limit the tangents, but obviously we still want to elaborate.
Yeah.
So we'll start off with Mario Party. Kind of crappy that the last one felt like it didn't have enough content, and then 2-3 years after they're coming out and saying, "Hey, there's a sequel. It's a remake of all the old good ones," and it's like, okay, but couldn't you have added that to the recent one?
Yeah. If they just combined those two games, it would have been great. But
I agree.
They just made their own new game, and it's okay. It's fine. I'll probably buy it so long as it's not 60 or 70 bones.
Yeah.
Well,
tough luck.
Tough luck. Tough luck.
So I've heard this argument that because of how weird Super Mario Party was, it would have been hard to add other stuff for it because everything had to be based off the Joy-Con. But this remake kind of
remake / sequel,
remake / collection, because it's all old content from Mario Party 1 through 3. Take the best of those 3 games, put it in new, make it new.
Right.
Is more controller based, so it'll be easier to add extra content for. So they might have kind of sacrificed Super Mario Party to make this one the one that it is big and has everything. But until we see that, I'm still kind of frustrated.
Yeah.
Next on the list is Smash.
I think we should wait until the end to discuss Smash.
We are going to wait on it, but our initial thoughts are we are disappointed.
Let's move on to Metroid. That's what's next on the list.
Metroid 5 looks cool. I am more open to it now than when I watched it. I thought it looked cool in the presentation. I thought it wasn't for me, but now I'm open to trying it.
See, my issue oh, sorry, go ahead.
It made a lot of people happy, so
yeah.
I would say
my issue with Nintendo's conference is it had a lot of interesting games. It's just the majority of the games they had and showed off were games that I was like, yeah, it looks cool, but it's probably not for me. So I'm probably just gonna pass on that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure Dylan might feel the same. I'm not sure.
Probably.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
My type of, I'm always like, I'm more into the competitive scene, like just broadly speaking. So I'm big into Rocket League, big into Smash, like 1v1s, Call of Duty when it was good. I haven't played COD in like 3 years. But I usually don't play games for like, wow, I'm having so much fun sitting here playing this by myself against nobody, and like sometimes I did, like I played The Last of Us, and I was like, wow, that was really good. Now, to be fair, that's like a critically acclaimed game, things like that.
Yeah.
So I was sort of primed, I think, to enjoy it. I see these games come out for Switch, and I'm like, I can't see myself sitting down. Like, I'm glad they exist, but I just can't see myself sitting there playing this Metroid game.
Yeah, I can't see myself
Mario.
playing.
I can't even see myself playing the Mario Party game, for crying out loud. Like, I mean, it looks fine.
Yeah.
Like, that's my
Looks
general
good.
opinion. Like, it's fine. Like, it's good they exist, but I'm not jumping out of my seat for these things.
Yeah.
And here's something I'll say that's kind of frustrating to me in the modern Gamescape era is that if you want a good couch co-op experience, your only outlet is Nintendo.
Yeah.
PlayStation and Xbox just aren't there, and even Nintendo doesn't have the same presence it once did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They still have a good one, but it has declined since the Wii.
Yeah.
I would definitely agree with you on that.
Even starting with the SNES, that was a sort of appeal, was having 2 players.
Yeah.
And I was just like, as soon as the Wii was done, as soon as the Wii U came out, like they tried with the gamepad to make that a sort of second, like they tried. I think they incorporated it like the best they could, but
yeah, they did the best they could
they
with
don't
what
have,
they had.
Nintendo just doesn't have the appeal, like you said, for like a co-op couch 2-player. Band of boys hanging out playing Nintendo, like that just doesn't happen anymore.
And their
online
scene is also mocked, so they kind of need couch co-op because their online scene is always mean for being bad. Which, to their credit, their kind of like bigger online games, Splatoon and Mario Kart, do work well.
Sure,
they work fine.
It's Smash and Animal Crossing that are bad, that I think they really need to improve, because Animal Crossing has a lot of tedious bull that just pads out the experience and makes it just a chore to see, like other people, and then Smash is just unplayable online. It is.
And that's saying something, seeing as we played it multiple times online, and Ryan is a huge Nintendo fan.
Yeah.
So I would definitely be inclined to agree with you on that. Like, the amount of ridiculousness that you can do online, like you can play GTA 5 on PlayStation 3 with like a bunch of random people all over the place and not deal with any fucking lag or anything. Albeit you might see a few hacks, a few glitches here and there, whatever. In Smash Online, if RNG is not on your side, you'll get such bad lag.
Yeah, it's really bad.
What I don't understand is, doesn't Nintendo want to like stray away from the competitive scene? Like, do they not? Or am I wrong in that? Don't they want Smash to not be like a competitive game?
I think they were very hesitant on making it a competitive game.
I mean, last time I checked, I remember I thought Smash 4, they didn't want it to be competitive.
I think,
unless I'm
at this point, they're trying to do both. They really are. And I think they're doing a decent job at it.
Here's my thing. Okay, you want it to be a competitive game, you gotta fix the online, because tournaments play a certain role, I guess, for the game, but if people can't hop on and just practice, what do you have? You gotta wait to always get a group together. You gotta always wait to get another dude, or you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't you can't rely on that, and I don't think you should have to.
And
Always having to have somebody else to play the freaking game.
And you want to know something crazy? Is I think that is the primary reason the gap between us has grown so far between me and you guys. Is I've lived with people who played competitively, and so we would just sit down and do it. Meanwhile, I couldn't get on and play competitively for you.
Yes, and like
me and Dylan are scrubs.
That's a perfect way of putting it. Is that the simple fact is, you wonder why there is such a difference in floor and ceilings between us, is because you are able to not only put in hours, but put in high quality hours.
Yeah.
Online doesn't count because it's so bad.
John's best option for training when I'm not here is YSU, which is rare and hard to set up.
Yeah.
Level 9s, which don't act like humans, don't behave like humans, and teach you bad habits.
Yeah.
Or online, which has a different meta and is very often unplayable.
Yeah. Usually I try to resort to the first one as much as I can, but with COVID, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's move on.
Yeah, we'll move on to WarioWare.
So
once again,
this was like another situation for me. Sorry.
Go ahead.
This was like another game for me, like Metroid, where it was like, yeah, this is cool that they're bringing it back and everything, but like, I can't see myself playing it. It's not for me.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. It looks kind of like worse Mario Party to me, but I think there are a lot of people who will enjoy it.
I'm just glad to see it out.
Though. Not for $60.
$50.
$50. That's not much better.
Okay,
I think it should be 40.
I agree. $50 isn't good in and of itself. The fact that they are experimenting with pricing is good. I hope it sells well to show to Nintendo that if they sell lower cost production games for cheaper, they will be successful. I want that signaled to Nintendo. And I think that's probably the most important part about WarioWare. There's a chance that apart from Breath of the Wild, the Smash, and Mario Party, all on here, WarioWare is the most important game for that single reason.
Okay.
Just to signal to Nintendo that price cuts are important. So, and it looks like fun local multiplayer.
Yeah.
Just shenanigans. And
you play it once a month.
Yeah. And little kids would play it a lot when they have their buddies over, and that's the perfect type of game for it.
Yeah.
So
same goes for Mario Party.
Yeah. But now that they have online board play, huge upgrade, way more playable of a game.
Yeah.
Then next on our list is Shin Megami Tensei 5. Actually looked better than I was expecting.
I'm qualified to talk about this because I'm the biggest Tensei fan you know.
You can call it SMT. I like Persona, and that did not inherently translate to SMT. Yeah. I didn't buy 3 remake, but I might buy 5 because what they showed off looked really good. The exploration, the battle mechanics, it just looked solid. But once again, it's kind of Japanese anime bull that a lot of people are kind of turned off by. So I think having too much, yeah, no, and that's a legitimate. I'm not going to pretend. I am not going to pretend that that's not a legitimate criticism, though, because it is. A lot of people are just turned off by that. It's not part of their culture, or what they're exposed to, so they don't appreciate it, and that's fine.
Yeah.
And they had SMT, Fatal Frame, and Danganronpa all back to back, and then all that, and it's going to numb you for the rest of the presentation. I think strategically the distribution was bad. And so Fatal Frame, cool. It's kind of like more action based. I don't know. Pokemon Snap, also a game that shouldn't have been $60. That's like a more action based, more mystery, more story based Pokemon Snap, and that's cool. You capture ghosts with photographs or combat them or whatever, document them. Cool enough. Not for me. Once again, like John said, there's kind of a lot of that going on in this direct, but cool enough.
Everyone else is saying that, and there's just absolutely no demand for any of this junk.
possibly.
like, that's cool. Not for me though.
Not for me
Yeah.
though.
I do know people who are excited for
Mhm.
everything we're saying,
Yeah.
the YouTubers and such. Danganronpa Collection, solid games. Kind of like murder mystery. They're neat. A lot of logic problems in them, kind of like the Phoenix Wright series or the Ace Attorney series. Not for everyone. Very anime. They're just pretty cool. The fact that it's a collection. Probably won't get it because I have it on my PlayStation. But neat that it's included, I guess. Advance Wars Remake is exciting. It looks good. It's kind of like a tactic game, Army Commander game. Old franchise that's been dead for a long time. That is kind of a SNES, kind of like cult classic.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing it. Yeah,
The
it
fact
looks
that
kind of cool.
yeah, a lot of people are excited. Not probably gonna buy it at full price.
Same.
But it's another one of those things. Good for them.
Yeah.
Am I remembering wrong, or was there something on Plants vs Zombies? Am I remembering that completely wrong?
I remember that. I don't remember that.
I think that was the March Direct. I think that was the March
Okay,
Direct.
all right. Because I
Yeah.
thought I remembered something, but that was
Garden Warfare from the March
Oh
Direct.
yeah, that's
that sounds.
yes.
I think that sounds a little familiar.
Couldn't remember. All right, cool.
Let's talk about what was missing before we talk about Zelda.
I was about to suggest the same thing. So what was missing? Fire Emblem. Makes sense. DLC came out in 2020 in the summer. Those games don't get yearly releases. Fine, that's missing. Mario Kart 9. Why do we not
that
have
it was gone?
What?
Sorry. I said bullshit that it was gone, not there.
Yeah,
announced.
why is there no exclusive Mario Kart for the Switch? Kind of crazy. Well, I guess there is Home Circuit, but I mean a real one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean to be dismissive, but a real one that doesn't cost $120 that you do in your actual house of toys.
Yeah.
No Pikmin. Dreams of Pikmin 4 are dead. They said they were working on a Pikmin game a long time ago. There was a Pikmin game that came out for the DS after that. That must have been what they're talking about because Pikmin 4 has been nothing for forever.
Yeah.
Which sucks because those games are really fun. But I didn't expect it. I was kind of hoping for a surprise because it would have been cool. Exact same story with F-Zero, except there was never anything to indicate it.
Yeah.
It's just whatever. I think F-Zero is a dead franchise at this point, even though a lot of people like it. And that happens.
They could have at least said, "Hey, Captain Falcon, he's going to be put into Mario Kart 8 as DLC." They could have at least done that. Yeah,
that would have been cool. And something I've heard suggested by Zero before he got Thanos snapped by the internet, is he said he wanted. So Captain Falcon canonically is a bounty hunter.
Mm-hmm.
That's his job, and he just races on the side, or he is a bounty hunter / racer. So he said he wanted a Grand Theft Auto style F-Zero with race tracks through the city, Mute City, but you're also going around bounty hunting.
That's pretty cool.
That would be a really sick game if they did it right.
I'm assuming rated T.
Yeah, rated T.
Yeah, that would be cool. I think I might buy that if it would ever see the light of day.
Yeah, and F-Zero is known for having really flashy visuals and really good music. But it dead franchise, so why are we even talking about it? I'm a little disappointed, but also I've never been too much of a fan. Bayonetta, they announced it 3 years ago. We've seen nothing since, and people have been harassing the director on Twitter, and he said, "No, you idiots, it's not canceled." He swore at them, was very combative because he's kind of upset with them.
Oh my.
Well, because they're harassing him, they're like, "No, Bayonetta must be canceled." And he's like, "No, we're working hard," and I completely understand kind of his perspective.
As a KH fan, I understand.
Yeah. No Animal Crossing update. Apparently, Nintendo has promised in tweets since E3 that there will be more Animal Crossing content coming.
There wasn't any at E3, which was weird.
Yeah, especially considering it's the Switch's best-selling game. Number 1.
Really?
Yeah, number 1.
More than Smash.
Smash is, I think, only 3rd or 4th.
Second.
I think it's
Mario Kart. Mario
Oh,
Kart.
Well,
Mario
because
Kart.
everyone's playing other types of Smash. Like you don't need the newest. You don't need the newest Smash for an accurate representation of what Smash ought to
Mhm.
be. I guess.
Yeah,
You know
that
what I'm
makes
saying?
sense.
Like
Yeah.
you don't need to play the newest one in order to have a good time.
Yeah,
Mhm. That's fair.
And Animal Crossing appeals to more people than Smash does. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I guess that makes
Because
perfect sense.
Animal Crossing came out at a really good time because it was like right at the beginning of the virus and everything.
Yeah.
So
And everyone was good to stay inside and sit on their Switch all day and play it.
mhm.
Yeah.
Which I saw a lot of, like anecdotally, like just
Yeah.
hearing people sitting on their
Yeah.
Switch and playing it all day.
Yeah, so I'm surprised they didn't capitalize on that. Next would be no Donkey Kong game.
Yeah.
There were a lot of leaks that the team behind Mario Odyssey was working on a new Donkey Kong game. A lot of people expected to see it, didn't happen, and those are rumors. So it could always be wrong, but a lot of people were hoping, and it wasn't there. And it's been a while since we've gotten a new Donkey Kong game, but
Yeah.
and it's his 35th anniversary or 40th, and it just got passed over.
If there's one
But,
thing Nintendo's really good at, it's ignoring the anniversaries of their IPs.
Correct.
Didn't they do
Um,
almost virtually nothing for Zelda?
They're doing Zelda 6 months late with a new game, a release, a port of their two last iterations old game, and the what is it? Zelda Game and Watch, which is the first three Zelda games.
Yes.
I feel like what happened was they just like realized like a month beforehand, oh my gosh, Zelda's anniversary is coming up. And then they just clamored to like get everything ready, and they were like, okay, it will be ready in 6 months from today in June.
To be fair, there's a good chance that when they were trying to develop Zelda content, COVID hit them. In Japan, Japan has a very hard time working from home because they actually have worse home internet than us. So
just because of the density or something?
The culture, they just don't have home internet.
Okay.
So it's very probable that they had COVID problems. So it's a little upsetting, but like also like you can only give them so much crap.
Yeah.
The next thing that was missing was No More Heroes 3. We've seen a lot for it. It's coming out this year.
What is that again? Remind me.
It's like an action-based kind of like tongue-in-cheek, like Borderlands type humor.
Yeah.
We've already seen enough for it that it didn't need to be there.
I thought it was either that or I can't remember what was the thing that popped up where it was in the RPG.
I can't think of it.
I think I know what you might.
I
don't know.
It was that RPG that was there, and it was like the combat was your turn-based combat.
Project Triangle Strategy or something.
I don't know.
It was very brief.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It was very brief.
Anyways, the next thing I want to intro in. This is what ruined the conference for me. There's nothing that Smash Bros. Did that ruined it for me. This is what ruined it for me right here.
Strong words.
No Nintendo Switch Pro. This is what ruined it for me. This is my first of two hot takes with Nintendo.
I don't think that's a hot take. I think that's a fair take. Was there any rumblings of Nintendo Switch Pro before?
A lot. Bloomberg newspaper reported it would come out this year.
Really?
Yes.
There's a lot of talk.
Wow. Yeah. All the leakers were saying, but like Nintendo also tweeted that their conference would focus exclusively on software. So there was a reason to expect it not to be there.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Nintendo did tweet a 40-minute presentation focusing exclusively on Nintendo software. So
I didn't see the tweet.
Fair enough. I mean, but it was actually easier to hear about the rumors than it was to hear about the tweet.
Yes.
So that's kind of still on them. And I do think it's coming out. I do still think it, but I think
You think winter, Christmas this year?
Maybe not Christmas. Maybe June next year.
Okay.
Well, there's a good chance it releases with Breath of the Wild too. I kind of expect that. In fact, actually, I'll kind of segue this into Breath of the Wild 2. Breath of the Wild 2 actually looked too clean to be running on a normal Switch. So
I have my second hot take actually on Breath of the Wild sequel.
mhm.
So as an avid KH fan, sorry,
Mhm.
as an avid KH fan, I think I have a right to say I'm relatively patient when it comes to waiting for a game to release.
Mhm.
You know, and being okay with what content I get out of every trailer that comes out for the games I want to see and play,
Yes.
I guess. So I guess what I'm getting at is, as someone who's not that much of a fan of Breath of the Wild 2 or Legend of Zelda, I guess I haven't given it a shot yet. But as someone who's not hasn't had any experience with it, I don't think there was enough gameplay shown off for the game at E3.
When is it set to release? Do they have a date yet?
2022. That's all they said.
I feel like we deserve at this point probably a little more than a cinematic or two.
Yeah.
We
They should
deserved
gameplay.
we deserved like an extra. We deserved at least like a minute more, and I think that would have been enough.
What
but
did they show again? Wasn't
It's
it Link
like-
running through fields or something like that?
He was in the sky. He was in the
Yeah.
caves. He had like a weird
Oh.
flamethrower item. He like
Yeah.
turned back time. It looked cool. I actually when I rewatched it, I appreciated it more.
Mhm.
It doesn't look like it'll be co-op. Weirdly enough, Nintendo said that they have a name for it that they're not revealing because it
Yeah.
revealed too much about the story. So
Oh, wow.
I think it might be like a Link Between Heroes, and you can still play as Zelda. I've heard the idea thrown about that like she'll be in the underground section, and Link will be in the top, and like you'll switch between them and they'll affect each other.
That'd be
'Cause
interesting.
Zelda's a very fleshed out character in Breath of the Wild, and it'd be weird to just shove her out of the game.
Yeah.
I
don't know. I don't know. I still stand by thinking that there just wasn't enough content there to warrant. I don't
Yeah.
know, the hype, I guess, because we knew the game was coming out, and honestly, from one glance, it looked similar to Breath of the Wild. And I mean, I saw that they like had new weapons and shit and new gameplay aspects, and I was like, man, that's cool. But like, it feels like it's DLC in Breath of the Wild could accomplish the same feats that the sequel trailer did.
They said it was actually planned to be DLC, but they thought there was too much to include in DLC, so they turned it into a sequel. But
Okay.
so here's actually the thing: the distance between Skyward Sword and Breath of the Wild is 5 years. The distance between Breath of the Wild 1 and Breath of the Wild 2 is going to be 5 years. A lot of people are expecting an overhaul, but something they don't factor in is that Breath of the Wild had DLC for 2 years after it released. So that's 2 years of development that are still going to Breath of the Wild 1 and not 2.
Okay.
So a lot of people were expecting a quick asset reusing sequel, that still did a lot, and that's kind of not what they got. But I still think it's going to be an advancement. It seemed like there were areas that were entirely new environments, and it seemed like there were a lot of areas that were old, reused ones.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll still need to see, but a lot of the new mechanics look good. A lot of the gliding and like flying and shit looks really good.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of my take on it. I thought it looked overall good once I like gave it a better look.
Yeah. So let's move on to our biggest topic, I guess. The biggest thing that we have to discuss.
How Kazuya
Smash
absolutely
reveal.
blew.
Yes, the fucking Smash reveal. I don't know what else there is to say on it. I mean, the second
I have no words.
The second Nintendo Direct started, they started with that.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I saw Ganondorf's boot, and I thought to myself, this is not Legend of Zelda.
Yeah.
This is not Legend of Zelda. This is the Smash reveal. I
So
think it was Ganondorf's boot we saw, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw
I think-
Ganondorf. And I was like, this is not Zelda.
I think my primary problem is that it was a character whose name I didn't even know.
Right.
Which is saying something because I know a lot of video games. I know a lot about video games, even ones I haven't played, and I didn't know Kazuya's name.
Yeah.
That's kind of a problem. And there is a character in the Tekken series whose name I know, and they didn't go with him.
I know. It's weird.
So we kind of came up with alternate characters. I kind of went ham with who we would have preferred as kind of a fun exercise.
I went as ham as I could.
Yeah. So
First
Dylan,
off, before we do this, sorry, what would we rate Nintendo's conference?
I would still put it at first.
I'll
They
keep it
they
at
had a wide variety and a
Mhm.
lot of fan pleasing games, even though they had some disappointments. I would still put them.
I'm leaning to 3.
I'll keep it at 2.
Okay. So two it
Average,
is.
average of 2. So okay, that's interesting.
So what do we have? Ties at 2
we
and 3,
have
don't
Yeah.
yeah. So we
So
have
1
no
and
one in
2.
first technically.
Well, you have tie
We'll say
first,
Ubisoft and Nintendo tied for first.
Yeah.
and then Microsoft and Square at 2. So,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
think if
Well,
I had to put it in a tier list, I think I would put Ubisoft in a tier on its own, and then I'd put then I put Nintendo in a tier of its own, and then I put Square and Microsoft in its third tier.
Okay. We
Yeah.
didn't talk about Mario and Rabbids, but
Oh yeah, let's discuss that.
Real briefly, it looked good.
Yeah, I
looked
liked it.
it's
I'm
fine.
excited for it.
It looked like the first game, but better. They have the
Mhm.
whole space premise. Pretty
I'm
cool.
very
Pretty
I'm very
cool stuff.
excited for it. I'll probably play it on Twitch because I enjoyed the first game so much. So, I'm excited for
But
that.
I don't want to derail. We're going a little long. So
Let's discuss our characters. So who wants to go first?
Yeah, I'll
Dylan,
go.
Dylan,
I'll
you go
go
first,
first.
and John.
Okay, I have like the shortest list because I don't have
And I'm sure
depth
we'll have
of
some
knowledge.
overlap.
Yeah, there's gonna be
Yeah,
overlap,
we will.
100%, as there should be, frankly, if there's any
Mhm.
sort of consensus. So, off the top of my dome here, I think I have like 5. Okay, so Toad, and these are in no particular order. Toad,
Right.
Waluigi,
Mhm.
what was you guys say? His name is Drybones, right?
Dry bones.
Drybones, Crash, and Spyro.
A lot of
And
Mario.
six, and 6 Sora. Sorry, 6 Sora.
Okay. I
Six.
respect
That's
for-
fair.
Just to check all boxes.
Yeah.
to please us.
Yeah,
Okay.
your guys' boxes.
Okay. I have a
I-
few that I would. Oh, sorry.
No. Go ahead. I was just gonna say that I feel like that covers enough ground
Mhm.
where it's not absurd. It's still in the realm of possibility.
Oh, mine is a little bit of both.
All right, let's hear it.
So I have 13 total in no particular order. So I'm not saying, yeah, same as Dylan, not
Yeah.
a particular order. So first, believe it or not, you won't believe this from me, but Sora.
No way.
I know, right? It's crazy. Second, another one you won't believe, Crash Bandicoot.
No. Big
Crazy,
Crash
right?
fan, huh? Big Crash fan.
So here's where it gets a little interesting. Number 3, Ryuji.
Oh, good pick. Good pick.
Yeah, there's a few in here. Fourth, I have to do the meme. I have to do the meme.
You don't have to,
boy.
but you're gonna do it.
Our boy Waluigi.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
He made it into all of our lists.
Yes.
As he should. There's no damn reason he should not be in this game.
Number 7 in Dylan's list.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so 5th, Spyro.
Yep.
Number 6 is actually one where I the more I think about it, the more I'd be like, yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Morgana.
Okay.
I think that'd be kind of cool.
Kind of weird that it's already Joker's taunts.
Yeah. These next two, I feel like they're possible because of the amount of notoriety. Maybe not 7, but definitely 8. And it's ironic I'm saying that. You'll see why. Number 7, the Among Us bean.
Okay.
Whatever you would call it.
We'll call him the imposter.
Yeah, the imposter.
Disgusting. That's just disgusting. We hate Sussy Among Us, man.
Yeah.
Do not put Sussy Among Us in Smash, please.
Mm-hmm. Now, there's a specific game that came out with a 7 at the end that was tremendous, that broke the internet if it existed back then. And then an 8th game followed that was pretty good too. So I think it should be the protagonist of that game, Squall Leonard.
I have him.
You have him?
I do have him.
I think it'd be really cool. I think it'd be really cool.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
The next few are kind of memes a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
but I'd still pog at them being in the game. Futaba.
Okay.
That's the last of the. Oh wait, no. There's one more Persona character.
This man is in on Persona.
Just a bit. Just a bit. What have I become, Dylan?
A
A
monster.
problem.
A monster.
A monster's problem.
Yeah.
That I have to deal with.
Okay.
Ugh.
So these next two, I feel, or actually, I guess the rest are like, I feel like they deserved a spot in. Shadow the Hedgehog. I think that would be cool because it's like
I think
you got
Knuckles would be cool. I think Knuckles might be a little cooler, but yeah.
really anyone from
They're
Sonic
both
would be
assist. They're both
worthy.
assist trophies. So people are actually throwing out Tails and Eggman because they're not.
I think Eggman has a little more appeal than Tails, but sorry, go ahead.
I would agree.
So this one might sound a little outlandish, but
Would love it.
Emmett Burkowski, I think is his name. He is the main protagonist of the Lego movie. So, like, to get like a Lego rep because of how big Lego is, I think that would be a pretty cool idea. It doesn't have to be that guy. It could be anyone from Lego, but I think it'd be stupid if it was like Lego Batman or something. Like, it should be like it should be like an original Lego character. So my mind went to that.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm sorry, I have to dip my toes in one more time, Dylan.
It's Kasumi, isn't it? It's Kasumi.
So, you got a good protagonist in the game. You need a good antagonist. I gotta go with my boy Akechi.
You didn't go with Kasumi, you monster. You actual monster. You actual monster.
All my homies hate Akechi.
All my homies hate Akechi.
Like, you got Sephiroth in the game to combat Cloud. You know, you got that rivalry. I think the more rivalries in Smash, the better.
That's actually a fair perspective.
You got Ganondorf and Link there. You got Bowser and Mario, obviously. And then my last one I just thought of off the cuff, which pisses me off because I would love to see them in the game. Ratchet and Clank.
Okay.
I would love to see them in the game. I think there's a lot of potential there.
So I'm just going to... I have mine broken up into the best character to add. Way better than Kazuya, better than Kazuya, only slightly better than Kazuya, and then a fifth section that is a little different, a little more jokey.
Okay,
and I'm just gonna speed both them because I have a lot.
Okay.
So the best Sora, way better. Kairi, Roxas, Riku, Ryu Hayabusa from Ninja Gaiden, Scorpion Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat, Raiden from Mortal Kombat, Raiden from Metal Gear, Ocelot from Metal Gear, Eggman and Tails from Sonic, Crash Bandicoot, Jak and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank, Sly Cooper, Kratos, Nathan Drake, Lara Croft, Master Chief, Dragonborn, Fable Rep, Perfect Dark Rep, Ori, Ellie from The Last of Us, Tracer, Commander Shepard from Mass Effect, Geralt from The Witcher, Ethan Winters, Chris Redfield, Clive Redfield, Jill, Leon Kennedy from all from Resident Evil, Rayman, Gino, Spyro.
Rayman.
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been cool, yeah.
Spyro, better, Altair, the Heavy from Team Fortress 2, Nightmare Ivy, Solar, Yoshimitsu from Soul Calibur, Shell from Portal, Chosen Undead from the what is it? I'm trying to think. The franchise. I'm having the worst brain fart. Not Bloodborne. Dark Souls. Isaac from Golden Sun, which is an old Nintendo property.
Damn it, forgot about Isaac too.
He's an assist trophy. Noctis from Final Fantasy 15. The Lone Wanderer from that would be Fallout 4. I forget the titles. I think maybe it's New Vegas. DixieCon, FunkyCon, Frisk from Undertale, Hatsune Miku from Vocaloid, the first rhythm-based character. One I have is just any other Persona character. Demi Fiend from Shin Megami Tensei 3, Doom Guy, Shovel Knight, Big Daddy from BioShock, Soap or Captain Price from Call of Duty. I'm not kidding with that one, they would be better. Gordon Freeman from Half-Life, Trevor or Michael from
GTA 5.
GTA 5.
God.
Arthur Morgan from Red Dead Redemption. Pokemon Ranger, Imposter, And now for the only slightly better category. Waluigi, sole bad guy who's a Guilty Gear fighter. Ari or any other League character. Lightning from Final Fantasy 15. Squall from Final Fantasy 8. Jonesy. Heihachi from Tekken. Isaac from The Binding of Isaac. Lloyd from the Tales of series. Sackboy and Jak and Daxter. And then the joke section. The dice from Mario Party. The carts from Mario Kart. Darkest Pit. Black Yoshi. Rainbow Dash from My Little Pony, Goku, Rabid Mario, Omni-Man, John Madden, and Shaquille O'Neal.
John Madden.
That's a pretty damn flushed list.
I think at one point.
I think they would all be better than Kazuya.
Yeah, I would be inclined to agree. I think at one point I had Madden 08 as a meme on my list because of Scott the Woz.
John Madden would be better than Kazuya. So, yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on E3.
Did you say you had like another list or something?
I had a list that got deleted, so I mostly replaced it.
Okay. I was confused. So, yeah, you put our lists to shame, but I will say, I forgot to mention this, but what was his name? Kazuya that I got in?
Kazuya.
Yeah, my list covers, my list definitely covers who I would pog at more to see included in the game than Tekken guy.
Yeah.
Because I already forgot his name.
Yeah. Yep. So, okay.
Yeah. So, this was our first episode. Actually, I think last off, are we going to vote?
I think we kind of already did. They just kind of, Ubisoft and Nintendo tie for first, and Microsoft and vote
for player 3.
Oh, okay, yeah. Who contributed the least? So yeah, we're gonna deem whoever's player 3. And
I think so.
Let's also vote for 2 and 1.
Okay.
Well, okay. I mean, just by the pure nature of the fact that I barely watched E3, besides I think a clip.
Yeah.
Microsoft, and then
the Nintendo conference.
And then Nintendo, I think I just will deem myself. Don't even bother voting. I'll deem myself player 3.
Okay. Sorry, Dylan. I was gonna vote you for 3 anyways.
As you should have. I'd be offended if you didn't.
Do we also have a consensus on 1 and 2? I think we might.
I'm thinking I might bite the bullet and go 2.
I was thinking that.
I'm just thinking of. The only reason I say yes is because of that 90-character list you just threw out there.
Yeah.
And I think the simple fact is that you just go by a numbers game there. I think you got us beat.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, Ryan's was longer.
Okay. Yeah, I got the first player controller.
So I'm thinking I'll have an overlay in the next episode with the rankings that we decided upon for this episode. And it'll just get renewed for the next episode once we vote, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that would be cool.
So. And what do you guys say overall with E3 2021? You were happy, disappointed, satisfied, just kind of
let's rate it, I guess. So
okay.
1 being
out of 5.
Yeah, 1 being I'm trying to think of what they could.
Complete waste of my time.
1 being a complete waste of my time. 5
being groundbreaking.
5 being
you're still thinking about it.
5 being Minecraft 2 being announced.
Minecraft 2.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, let's hold up our fingers for our score, and we'll. Oh, I was gonna count it down. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, almost 1. Pretty much.
Damn near 1 for me as well.
Damn near 1.
Jeez, I'm optimistic.
You are. That's fine.
So, yeah.
That's a nice dynamic.
It's only slightly.
That's a nice dynamic among us. Among us.
Are you having fun saying that word, Dylan?
No, you know that.
Okay. Well, thanks everyone for watching. Goodbye.
Yeah. Hope you all enjoyed. See you next time.